Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about body movement. Body movement in terms of bachata, salsa and cha-cha-cha and how the body naturally works. Now everybody thinks that Latin dancing is about moving your hips and shaking the hips, but that actually isn't correct. What happens is it's a natural movement as we all do when we walk and when we run. What happens is your shoulders counterbalance your hips, although you can't see it so much at the moment. But when you're running, this is what's going on. And this is where your drive comes from the dancing, because it's a natural movement. It's the same movement as we apply when we're doing anything. The problem that people have is they overthink it. So they try and force themselves to actually do something. And what I'm going to do today is go over some of those things and try and help you just to move naturally in your dance so you enjoy it much better. Okay, let's try. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is basically your body flow. It's getting that relaxed and letting the body actually move naturally. Now in order to do that, you need to relax the whole body. Your shoulders drop down, and you see that, your shoulders drop down. And what happens is your shoulders that move. My arms aren't moving, okay, so this part isn't actually moving. What's moving is the shoulders, so you're flowing. Now when you're walking and when you're running, what happens is those shoulders actually do the driving. So when you're running, this is what's going on. And you can see the arms aren't actually moving. You see people doing this with their arms and moving their arms around and up and down. That doesn't move at all. It's just the shoulder that actually moves. So just to loosen up and just to find where the separation is in your body, is you just need to sort of like, just let it flow. Just see how the body works. See what's the joints and how they're moving and so on when you're doing that, so you can get that separation in your body, so you don't look stiff. Because obviously when people learn to do body rolls, they tend to do something like this, because what they're doing is they're connecting all of their joints together, when of course it's individual. So you let each of the individual parts actually flow, and so you'll feel that just flow into the step. Wherever you're moving, you're just going to get that flow down through. And you want to get that relaxed, okay? Just drop down into that. Of course, the core is always engaged. So before we get into any of the dances like salsa, bachata or cha-cha, we're just going to look at how that movement is. So if you take the basic movement of steps, what happens is, if you drop down into that hip from one weight to the other, for instance there, so I put all my weight down onto my right side, it pushes the hip out. So I'm not actually moving my hip out, I'm simply putting my weight down. And if I transfer over, it does the same. You see that? So it just drops into there. And depending on who you are and how you like to dance, the more you exaggerate that, of course, the more the hip actually moves. But you're not flowing the hip, you're not actually moving the hip as such. And again, that's the counterbalance with your shoulders. So my weight is down onto my right, my left shoulder is forward, and so on. Because that's what happens when you're running and when you're walking. So just to get with a step, we'll just go from 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What I'm doing is I'm stepping and sitting down onto my weight. Just dropping onto my weight. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And again, like I said, the more you get comfortable with that, depending on your style, is how you push into that hip, how you sit right down into that to actually create that style. And what goes on up here is just counterbalance. You see that? And all I'm doing there is just my shoulders going forward. Now I'm not doing this on purpose, this is just naturally happening because this is the way our body works. And incidentally, everybody's body moves the same. We're all human, everything moves the same, it's just a difference between being stiff or just loosening up. So you can see step and step and step and step, step and step, step and step, step. And all I'm doing is sitting into my weight, sitting into my weight. So I put my foot down and sitting into my weight and sitting into my weight. Now about drive. Drive is when you can use your body to actually move into a step. You see that? So moving into that step. Rather than your foot going forward when you're doing the step, what's happening is your body's going forward. So you're actually pulling your body forward into that step. And think of it in terms of like you're holding on to something imaginary, and then you pull into that. So here is your step. So really what you're doing is you're not actually stepping forward as such. Your body is going forward and your foot is stepping down to take your balance. So it's driving into the step. And you get much more of a feeling, much more of a flow when you're driving into a step. You see that? So however you do that, you bring your chest into the step. And again, don't overthink your shoulders, because just relax them and see how it goes. See how they move, okay? Don't try and force the shoulder to do something like this. Just relax them and see, by bringing that chest forward into the step, how that goes. Into there. Whether you do it from there, whether you're doing it from the side, it's just driving from up here. And again, just stand in the room on your own, hopefully, and just sort of like, just feel what's going on. Just see how you can actually move your body around, how you can flow, and how different movements can go into that step, just to get that basic. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at salsa first, okay? So pick a nice slow beat when you're actually practicing, so not too fast, because what you want to do is you want to build up that rhythm, build up that flow in terms of when your body moves. So let's just look at the steps. I'm not going to go over the actual steps, because of course you know that. We're just going to look at how mambo and rumba works, and possibly how the open works as well, with regards to the way your body works. Now, again, so we're going to do the mambo first. So the mambo, of course, we're going to drive from here, okay? So we're not going to stick our foot out when we're going forward into the step. And in fact, the less you can step, less of the width, the better it will be. So for instance, there, you see that? So what's going to happen is we're going to take our chest and we're going to drive forward. So we're going to bring our body forward and step down. So there's 1, 2, 3. So we'll just look at the steps for the moment. So again, so we just drive that step forward, 1, 2, 3. And of course the right stays where it is, and we just come back. So when you're driving forward, it's the foot, of course, that needs to push you back to where you're starting from, because your weight is here, we're coming back to there, because it doesn't quite work by driving that way and just driving that way, so that won't work. So again, we're going to drive, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go back, 6, 7. So it's a slight back again from the drive. It's a drive back and your weight is going down. So forward, 2, 3, and back, 6 and 7. And of course, ladies, you can have more flow going on there, more flow with the actual shoulders and so on and so forth, and in terms of the legs as well. Whereas the men tend to have a bit more of a sort of like, not always, a bit more of a macho sort of like up and into the step and into the step. So when you're doing that step. So in terms of the arms, okay, what I want you to do is just relax them. So when you're driving forward, okay, what happens is by driving forward, this shoulder is going back. It doesn't look like it, but it is. It's going back. So you see this part of the arm, that goes back that way. So there, you see that? So left foot forward, that means right shoulder forward. So it's like that. You see that? So when you're doing that step, it's like that. Now don't force that, because that's what it looks like. So you don't want to do that. You just want to again relax into that step, left foot forward, and then just let these shoulders flow. 1, 2, 3, and 5, 6, 7. And again, if you think about it, about running, it's exactly what's happening when you're running. You will see it more when you run, because it's the same way. And all this is counterbalance. Counterbalance of this shoulder forward, and this hip forward. That's a counterbalance. It doesn't work if you do it like this, such, okay? So what we're going to do is look at that flow. So we'll step 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Let me show you from this angle. I don't know if this will make any better. So forward, 1, 2, and 3, and back, 6, 7, and 1, 2, and 3, and back, 6, 7. And again, ladies, like I said, you can give it more flow. What you see with the ladies, if they have more. Now, even though the hands can do this, okay, again, you don't want to be moving the arm up and down here. So again, the shoulders may just flow more into the step, into that step, and sit more into it. As you can see, which I didn't mention before, what you don't want to do is step back straight and back forward. So you see with the feet's there, what you want is more of a step back in behind yourself, step forward in front. So the foot comes a little bit behind here, not to the side. Okay, so that gives more flow when you're actually dancing. So you see that? So you have a better flow into the step. And it's the same for the other steps, like the rumba, for instance. Now the rumba is going to drive, again from here. What we're going to do is going to have this flow, and we're going to go over to the side and over to the side. So you see this flow, and I'm exaggerating it a little bit now. Over to the side and over to the side. And drive with the chest and drive with the chest into the step. And again, ladies, you can have more flow into that step when you actually bring in your step over. And it just gives a bit more into here. Again, not moving the hips. That looked like I was moving the hips, but not moving the hips. It's just more of a flow of this down here. And you don't want to go over the top because it does look a little bit silly. I mean, I see some people giving it all of this and they look like they're going to take off. So control it a little bit in terms of your step, but just have a nice flow. In terms of the open step, use your shoulders on the open step. I so often see people step back like this into the steps rather than bringing the shoulder around. The shoulder comes around here, which is like a turn basically. Bringing the shoulder around turns you. So just moving that shoulder, again not the arms, okay, so the arms aren't moving, just the shoulder, bringing that shoulder, and the foot goes to back and behind. This is another word for this step. We call it the open, but it's a cumbia step. And you see the steps, sometimes they might take big steps back and big steps back, but that's only if the body is all that way back as well. You don't want big steps back like this and leaving your body in the same place. Me personally, I prefer the smaller steps, just bring the shoulder around, bring the shoulder around, bring the shoulder around. And it's almost as if the foot is coming back forward into the step, as opposed to going backwards. You see that? It's almost coming back into there. Because again, it's more from the shoulders that you're working. So your shoulders is what's turning, your shoulders is what's turning. What we're going to do is going to look at those steps, those 3 steps with a bit of music. Now I'm going to exaggerate it in some points and then bring it back a little bit, so you can just see where the flow is coming from. So let's just try that with a little bit of music. And the rumba. From here, again, over, over. And the open. Shoulders round, letting the arms flow. Just bringing those shoulders around. Exaggerate that. Or just flow more. Cool. So let's look at the bachata movement as well. So in terms of the bachata, of course you've got your 4-count beat. Now there's different ways in which people move that little flick in terms of the actual style of bachata. So normal steps, 1, 2, 3, tap. Now again, as we did over the salsa and what we talked about into the introduction, the body moves the same, so it's still exactly the same. So as you would go into a rumba, you would do the same to step to the side if you were doing the bachata, okay? Forgetting on the spot for the moment, we'll work on that in a minute. So we'll just do the basic step, and the basic step is to bring yourself over, 1, bring the feet together, 2, bring it over again, 3. Now, on that point is a tap, okay? So it can be just a standard tap, 1, 2, 3, tap. But that's what that looks like. So if you want to give that a little bit more style, what you can do is you can look that into the steps of 1, 2, 3. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that foot in. Now as I bring that foot in, I'm going to roll the hip out and back out again. So ladies tend to do this style a bit more, so they go out and back. And you see it's a flow going that way, coming back and stepping back out again to go this side. And it goes here too, so it's a flow up, out and back. That looks a bit too snaky, doesn't it? But that's the style, and that's what happens with that step. So it's 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap. Or simply, just in that step, without exaggerating too much, 1, 2, 3. So when you tap, what you're basically doing is just touching the floor. You don't want to put weight down because it is a tap, it's not a step. So you tap and up goes the hip. You see that? So you can push that hip up to that bit of style. Now, think of it in terms of you're actually pushing on your hip. So you see that? You're actually pushing weight down, but you don't really do that. It's just a tap, and then you can actually add that step into there. So that's the easier one than the first one. Tap, 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3. Don't exaggerate that. Tap, 1, 2, 3, tap, 1. So if I just do it from this angle, so again, so it's 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap. Now you'll notice the shoulders and the arms don't move when you're tapping because you're not actually transferring weight. So your natural body balance doesn't happen because you're not doing anything. So by just going 1, 2, 3, so if I do with the arms, the shoulders, sorry, 1, 2, 3, they'll stop, tap, and then back in again, 1, 2, 3, tap. So no movement goes on into that step when you're actually doing that. Another way to look at this, okay, in terms of that, is you'll tend to see the ladies will bum roll when they're stepping. So let me try and attempt that. So 1, 2, 3, tap, 1, 2, 3, tap. I'm not sure how that looks like, but what I'm doing is I'm rolling into the step. So when I step, okay, so when I step, I roll back out, 1, 2, 3, tap. I'm really not sure how that looks. The girls do it much better than I can do it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and tap. So it's just having that roll going on when you're stepping. And basically what you're doing is you're sort of like just doing a little bit of a roll in terms of this part here. So just to roll out when you're stepping. Roll out, roll out. Of course, that looks so much better when the girls do it. So, but that's a good thing for you to practice, ladies, okay? Because it does look nice. So when he's leading you into that, he can roll that hip as he's stepping and rolling that hip out and around into the step. And of course, looks pretty sexy when you're doing that step. So that's the bachata styling, okay? Arms are exactly the same. The steps, like I said, on the basic, you can either roll the hip in and back out again, or simply tap and lift the hip. What you want to avoid is trying to lift the shoulder as well. You do see that. So 1, 2, 3, tap. So the shoulders lift up, but all that is just that. And a way to practice that is just to tap and see the hip actually move into those steps. Now in terms of doing it on the spot, if I just show you on the spot, and I'll exaggerate this. So when we do the basic, 2, 3, and tap, 1, 2, 3. Then you can get more roll, 2, 3, and tap, 1, 2, 3, and tap, 1, 2, 3, and tap. And you can see I'm rolling the body rolling around here. 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, 3, and tap. 1, 2, 3, and tap. As opposed to 1, 2, 3, tap. 1, 2, 3, tap. Now, of course, I exaggerated the first part as much as possible so you can just see what's going on, and you will apply varying degrees of how comfortable you are and what it feels and looks like for you in terms of that step. Me personally, I just do a small movement into the step, but if you see the girls when they do the step, they just give it a bit more flow into the step and they give that more emphasis onto there. So let's just look at that in terms of some music. On the spot. Okay, so now let's take a look at the styling of cha-cha-cha. Now, there is two styles. There's the Cuban style, so the original style of cha-cha-cha, which is more like salsa itself, the body movement. So it's 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. So the body movement in that sense is almost identical to the salsa one because it's a Cuban style. Or you get the ballroom style. The ballroom style is more flow, 1, 2, cha-cha-cha. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at that style, not to the point where it's like strictly the strictly ballroom style, but more so you have just something different when you're actually dancing the cha-cha rather than just doing it the normal style of Cuban. So let's just look at the step first. Now I see that I'm just getting my feet in there, so let's just go to here a sec. So in terms of the step, once again, what we're going to do is we're going to bring the body back, okay? So you're bringing the body back, not the foot back. So it's 1. Now in terms of this, we'll work on the arms in a minute. In terms of this, again, the foot is going to come back behind the foot. So behind, okay? What you don't want is to the side. So we'll get that 1. You see that? Now the counterbalance, 1. Because this shoulder's forward, because this leg's forward. So right shoulder, left leg. So this shoulder's back into the step. So 1, 2, cha, cha, cha. Let's look at that in a minute. So again, when you're doing that step back, behind. So you have that twist of the body. You see that? So the shoulder brings you back. 1. Okay? So in steps, 1, 2, cha, cha, cha. Now on your cha, 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 so on the 2, I brought my foot forward. You see that? So the forward, in front, not to the side. So in front. Now in terms of the cha, 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 again you're transferring, as I said earlier, you're transferring weight. Cha, cha, cha. So all you're doing is placing that weight down. From the front, cha, cha, cha. And because it's very, very quick, cha, 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 into that step. But again, it's small steps. You don't take a big step here, so you don't want to have a big stance and try and do the cha, cha, cha. Bring it in nice and tight because you're almost stopped on your cha, cha. So if I shoot you from the side, so if you're going 1, 2, cha, cha, cha. You see that? We're sort of like stopped as opposed to 1, 2, cha, cha, cha. We're not actually walking that step. The cha, cha is more on the spot. So we can be a bit more flowy with the arms on the cha, cha, cha. And again, a bit stronger with the body when you're doing that step. So although you're still relaxed, core is engaged, you just have that bit more of a 1, 2, cha, 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 and a bit more flow into that step. So that takes us more to that ballroom style. So again, if I just shoot it from the side, okay, so we're stepping back, 1, 2, and cha, cha, cha. Then we go forward. You see that? Now what I'm doing is I'm pointing. I'm actually pointing my foot. 1, 2, and cha, cha, cha. So you have this sort of like strength through the body and forward. So you have that flow, that point, and that foot in front. And again, the foot, as you can see, is in line as well. So I'm not off to the side. Here, it's in line. And what I'm doing is I'm just slightly twisting my foot. And the reason for twisting my foot is because better balance, okay? As opposed to there, your knee is turned that way. So you're turning your foot into that step. So let's just do that again. So hopefully you'll be able to see my feet from there. So I'm going to step back and behind, flare the arms, 1, 2, and cha, 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 and forward, 2, and cha, 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 and back, 2, cha, 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 and forward, 2, and cha, cha, cha. And just think about it as bringing your body up, bringing your body into the steps, nice and strong. Ladies, more flair with your arms if you want, up into the back when you're stepping back and so on and so forth. And to do that, it's like pushing something up into there. Let's try that to music.